right, I have returned, and we're gonna do something. We're gonna do more game dev. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. So this seems good. Like, this seems like I've achieved what I set out to do an hour ago, which was to make it easy to reuse enemy scene, but with different combinations of predefined options. So I think that's that. So what did we change here? We changed enemy spawner to add a little bit of additional logic here, moving some of the stuff out of the wave script. We added some resource files here for basic zombie and slightly bigger zombie. But slightly bigger. There you go. And then we can say it's not a basic zombie. It is a slightly bigger zombie. There we go. And enemy script. We added this load resource method, and we changed the other methods to start with an underscore to indicate they're all like internal things. And the level got updated because it now refers to these resources and has enemy types instead of enemy scenes. Cool. And I think that's it. So I'm just going to commit that actually as is. I don't need to change the commit message more. And we will open a pull request for me. And yeah, we'll move on to the next thing. So will this, did I make it so that it will automatically move this to the in review? Let's refresh. I thought I turned on that workflow. So when we auto close, auto archive, auto add to project, code review approved. I don't know, the whole workflow thing in projects in GitHub is a bit limited, it seems. Okay, well, whatever. So, what next? Well, the next thing on the list. This is the one thing I like about this is I can organize kind of my plan for the next things I want to do, and then we can knock them out. So, I will see if Copilot has any thoughts about those changes. In the meantime, let's talk about scrap collection. So levels can contain static objects in the world that can be clicked to be harvested for scrap. So I want to think about this for a little bit. Actually thinking about, so the thought that just went through my mind right now is thinking about how we would do this. So, because this is going to be something that we're going to place in the level manually, it's not going to be spawned in. When we do this, probably what I will do is I will have a scene. That scene will have some exports that will define, I guess, the amount of scrap that it yields, right? I guess is it only one value? You know, so the first thing that came to mind though was that because it's not in a situation where we're trying to dynamically spawn things in, we could have a resource that would define, I guess, the scrap amount. And then it occurred to me, well, in the thing that I just changed, in the thing that I just did, when we're looking at the enemy, instead of having all of these different values here, we could have it as an export the enemy type resource, right? So instead of trying to copy values in to these things, we would refactor the enemy script to be like, oh, well, I will read settings dot whatever, settings dot hit points. Well, maybe not that, because yeah, anyway, but like scrap reward, an XP reward. That doesn't quite work in that scenario because of the way we're doing like the health and attack components that have their own things. Yeah, it's fine. I'm still sort of of two minds about it because it feels like we're trying to do two different things at the same time, and I'm not quite sure. I think time will tell, right? So as this develops further and we add more types of enemies and just use this, we'll see what shakes out, and if one part of this or the other is problematic or was a waste of time or whatever. I think time will tell, maybe. So anyway, moving on though to the next thing. So we'll probably, thinking about the level here. Isn't it a beautiful level? I need to do something. I was messing around with textures in Blender somewhat last week, and so you can see there's a repetitive pattern that's really obvious, and there's some stuff that we can do in Blender to add some randomness and do some things to make, like, especially if you like zoom out. Let's see if I don't select the. Let's see what is giving us the overlay here. Is it the collision shapes? There we go. It's a pretty obvious repetition, but it's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's fine for now. Okay. So how about this? So Copilot said, no. I don't think that's really a thing because I'm assuming Godot knows how it wants to generate the TSCN files. I don't think that's necessary either. Spawn enemy assumes instantiated scene implements. Yeah. It's true. I think this is a valid point. I might come back and add an assertion or some kind of checking there. Connect the ready signal with connect one shot to avoid lingering connections. Yeah, I think assuming this is not a hallucination and this is true, I might want to do that. That sounds reasonable. So we'll come back to this. I kind of want to move on to the next thing though, especially since we don't need the other thing to work on this thing, right? So I'm gonna start with this, and we're gonna figure out how to do that. So, what is it? Oh, I see. I created a change by toggling off and on things. Okay, so we're gonna switch back to the main branch and switch back to here, reload from disk. Okay. And what does scrap look like? I guess it looks like maybe like a pile of something 2x4s. It looks like some pieces of jagged metal. It looks like some boxes. We could do some boxes. Yeah, okay, let's fire up Blender and we'll make a model. So we have Blender. Well, I'll bring it in here. I'm already thinking about like how this is going to be wired up, right? So, hey, look, it's a box. I mean, honestly, for once we can actually just use the cube. Can we snap? There we go. All right. I don't think we want a what is this, a 2 meter by 2 meter cube? Is that the scale that we're at right now? Yeah. Okay, so let's scale this to 0.25. What is it? Control D? No, Shift D? Yes. I'm literally just going to make a pile of boxes for this first go. Oh, that looks weird. Yep, it's a pile of boxes. And then we can have a material. And the material is cardboard. I don't know a lot about these other settings for materials to know what to do about that, but we can, there we go. And we could add some, like, we can do all sorts of fancy things, right? With, if we got you know, make an image, we put some, like, tape and labels and stuff, but just really lo-fi stuff going on here. We're gonna have a pile of boxes that blend. All right, and then I'll get imported into our situation here. Pile of boxes. There we go. So, how is this going to work? Like, we can just we can take this and drop it into the world. Hold on, I need to. There we go. Hey, look, it's a pile of boxes. So if we run the game, also, hold on, I should change this so that it spawns back inside of the view, transform. Oh, okay. Where's the? Yeah, embedding is disabled. Great. Isn't there an option though to make it embed? Where is that? You know when you knew how to do something and then you just don't remember how to do it anymore? Yep. What if this is... Oh, let's stop the game. Is there something in here? There used to be a way for me to run the game and have it embedded in the... Oh, okay, so that's only an option that's on the game tab, right? Aspect ratio. Embed game on next play. There we go. Yay, although that... There we go, okay. Start game. Hey look, there are boxes. Now we can't do anything to the boxes. Also, let me turn on desktop audio. Let's try that again. Yeah, those are sound effects from last time. But yeah, we can't do anything to the boxes. They exist. They're kind of box-like. But yeah, so how do we want to handle the idea of being able to click the boxes to collect scrap? How's that gonna work? So we can attach a script to the scene. Also, I don't know why this is inside of enemy spawner. Let's put that there. Okay. So what I'm thinking about here is we will create... We'll save this out as a scene, right? We'll save branches scene. But first I'll attach a script to it that will attach the behavior. And that script I'm going to save to a place. I'm just trying to think, is this an entity? I guess it's an entity. Something in the game world that has some logic to it. Because it shouldn't be in stages or utilities. It's not config. It could be common, but I don't think so. I think this is going to be... I'm going to create a new folder here called scrap. And we'll create a script. This will be scrap.gd. And this will inherit from node 3D, right? Because this will be a script that will attach to something that's based on a node 3D in the world. So yeah, that exists. And then here's a question: can we just like click and drag and drop that onto pile of boxes? Yes. So now pile of boxes is linked to the script. And then what we want to do is we want to make this script handle the user mousing over and clicking on the model. Is that how we do that? Because usually that's something where we need like a ray trace, right? ray trace, raycast. That's the word. Yeah. We need like to raycast from the camera where the mouse is on screen to figure out, oh, the mouse is hovering over the pile of boxes and we need to do something. We don't. How does that work? How are we? Because we're doing that with the zombie already, but we're not doing that on the zombie. We're doing that where? So we have enemy raycast 3D. This is what we're using to do the raycast to hit the zombie, I think. So is that in the main script? Are we? So obstacle raycast is for the obstacle. Handle enemy click. So if we left mouse button, it calls this method, and we check to see if we collide with something. So what I'm thinking about here is maybe we just extend this behavior to also work for scrap. So I think the way this works is we have this collision mask, right? So 3. So that must mean that the enemy is on layer 3, or is masked. No, is on layer 3. Right? It's on layer 3. We have a collision mask on 3. We should also rename this to maybe destroyable, targetable, attackable. Right? And then what we could do is here we will what does this return? It just returns an object. It's a something, right? And it's a something that has a name. And then what we want to do is currently we try to perform an attack. Now that is not necessarily what we want to do. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. So what does attack perform attack do? Right, so we have an attack component. So like the scene, we have an attack component that represents the player's ability to attack, right? And so what this does, it says if the target has a health component meta, we select that and then we give it damage. And if it has an audio, if we have an audio player, we tell the audio manager to play the hit sound from our attack. Interesting. On it. I suspect. So we implemented this a couple weeks ago. To add the ability to play sounds. But I suspect that this is backwards, that we want the thing that is hit to play a sound. Or maybe we do both. Where's take damage? Yeah, so probably we want the health component to have the ability to play a sound that's based on... Oh, it's a bot. Hello, bot. Goodbye, bot. But anyway, that's not what I'm trying to solve here. So... we do things where we timer stuff, that's all fine. I think about maybe what we do here is we make scrap something that is attackable, something that has health, where it just has like 1 hit point. And yeah, maybe we do that. I think maybe so. Okay. And then we don't necessarily... Let's think about this. So when attack performs attack, it... Oh, yeah. So we will need a script. Because we'll need to receive the signal from the health component. And we use that to give... we tell the game manager or the currency manager to give scrap to the player. Yes. I think I understand what we need to do. I think I understand. So let's detach this script. We're going to add a new node. This is just going to be a node 3D. We're going to call this X for the moment. And we're going to rename this to be pile of boxes. And we're going to put this inside. And this is going to be model. And then we're going to add another node that's going to be a health node. Hit points will be 1. So the health script on ready will set the health component of the parent, so that wires itself up automatically. We need to do something here. Let's see. So models transform is reset, and then we move the pile of boxes to where we want it to be. Maybe like so. Yeah. And now pile of boxes is attackable. It's not going to do anything, but I think this will work. Also, I didn't reattach the script, but that's neither here nor there. Start game. Oh my. That didn't work. What happened? Invalid assignment of property or key max value with type int on base object to type null instance on update display. Health GD line 36. So there's supposed to be a health bar. Okay. So we have a remote tree. Let's figure out what's going on here. So we have level 1. We have pile of boxes. We have our model. And we have health. We have something. So it was supposed to be able to find health bar. It's kind of confusing. Yeah, so this health has these things. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I did this wrong. We don't want to add the node. We want to add... Because effectively what I did was I created a node with the script attached, right? So we... like this script defines a class of type health that extends node and does these things, but you can't actually use this as a freestanding node. You need to grab the component. Now, should you have to? Maybe not. Like if we look at the scene, what I could have done instead was I could have had the health script like manually construct these things, I guess. Or, oh, I could have it reference this scene and like add it as a child, like add the this and this as a child, and then you would be able to do the thing that I did where I did to like add node and select health. But currently that does not work, and you need to take the health scene and put it in here, and that's correct once we change the value to 1. Okay, so if I run this, hopefully we don't get an error. Start game, and I can click the boxes, and that is nothing. Right, because that, yeah, why not? So remote main level 1 pile of boxes, health, sub viewport container, sub viewport, VBox container, health bar, min value, max value, value is 1. Oh, right, because I didn't set, I didn't make this actually something that is headable, right? Because it's not, like if we look at an obstacle, so in entities, if we look at obstacles and we look at like the obstacle scene, right, we need a collision shape. We need a collision shape that is on oh, collision shapes aren't clickable, but in this way, they're not targetable. But it would need to be on this layer or have this mask, whichever one it is. The opposite of the thing that, if you look at main, enemy raycast 3D, collision mask, so it needs to be on layer 3. It needs to be on layer 3. So we need to add a an area 3D. No. What do we need to do here? Like this works because this node is a character body 3D. I guess for the pile of boxes, it could be a static body 3D. Right, so pile of boxes here, we just change this type to be static body 3D. And then collision layer 3 and no mask. And then we need to add a collision shape 3D. Excuse me. And the shape needs to be, we'll just define a box shape here. And just like manually set it to be roughly the right size. Something like that. Like we're not even gonna have like, we're not gonna worry about zombies like being able to walk through it or any of that stuff. This is just for having it be clickable. Okay, so now if I run this, can we click? Yeah. We can click the box. And we even get a sound effect. Now we just need to do everything else. There's not a lot, actually. Like, if we just attach our script, which is in entities, scrap. Attach that script. Of course, this is static body 3D. Static body 3D does extend from node 3D, so I think it's fine that we just say extends node 3D. We can give it a class name. Scrap, I guess. Scrap settings, amount. That's pretty much it. And then what we want to do is there's a signal on health, right? So died. And we're going to attach that to pile of boxes, right? And then all we need to do is we need to say currency manager dot, I don't know what the name of the method is. Earn scrap amount, and then Q free. And then we don't need damage source. Okay, so this will make it so that when the box is clicked and it dies, because it only has 1 hit point, it will give scrap and it will delete itself. So if I run this, I don't know what's going on with the arrangement of things, but we can quickly harvest that scrap, and now we have 110 scrap, and the boxes go away. And then we have 120 scrap, and we can place obstacles and do all those things. Cool. So that was the whole point. So then I'm going to save branch as scene, and we're going to save entities scrap pile of boxes. Save. So now we have a reusable pile of boxes that we can place in the world multiple times to be able to get more scrap. Now, I haven't really figured out. So I think in early levels, this is okay. This is going to be like balancing between taking out zombies as they spawn, placing defenses and things that will attack the zombies, and then, of course, you need to get scrap to be able to build more defenses, but you got to balance that with taking out zombies before they take out your survivors. So that, at least early on, feels like the gameplay loop. I imagine at some point the scrap resources to collect will be more sophisticated. Maybe we have something where we have scrap where, ooh, maybe I want to change this a little bit, right? So if we go into the scene now, and we have this signal, instead of listening to died, I mean, we can listen to died too, but we'll listen to damage. And damage will earn scrap amount. And then when we die, it deletes it, right? And so, well, that's a problem. Hold on. Let's see. Scrap reward. There you go.
You really mustn't, darling.
Maybe I want to do something where it's like scrap reward is like the scrap reward is the total amount that's available, and you get amount over hit points amount of it, right? So amount over hit points. Let's see. So we do var Damaged. I mean, I think hit points is total hit points. How does this work again? Health, GD. When we trigger damaged, oh no, hit points is hit points remaining. Don't know. Well, we'll not worry about this quite yet. We'll just we'll make it not proportional. Just put underscores in front of all these so it stops complaining about that. So yeah, the idea would be that maybe some further into the game, what you would do is you would actually have towers or obstacles is the general term I'm using, but like a tower, a mine, where you would have some resource that is harvestable for scrap, and you would actually be able to place something that would harvest it for you. Yeah, that could be a thing. And I think this framework supports doing that, where it's like it's a tower that will attack this kind of thing. Probably thinking. I think what I want to do is I'm going to duplicate this scene, and this will be scrap .tscn. In this scene, we are not going to have a model or a collision shape, and so that's going to complain. I wonder if I can get away with this though, right? So we're going to call this scrap. And so these things are connected. And then a pile of boxes, I am going to get rid of health. I'm going to change type. Can I do this? Can I? Is this a new inherited scene? Where I take these two things and I paste them into here? Hold on, I've jumped the gun a little bit. Don't save that. Save this. Okay, so now this node is called scrap. And then new inherited scene. Paste. And then close this pile of boxes. Don't save. Save this over entities, scrap, pile of boxes. Save. Yes. So we get the same thing, but now I think if I change this scene to add, I don't know, anything, a sprite 3D, right? And I go here, that also lives in here, right? It's inherited. That might be helpful at some point in the future. So if I remove this collision shape, oh good, I still get this warning here. Okay, cool. Okay, let me make sure that I didn't break anything. Yeah, we have boxes. And the boxes are harvestable, and the sound effect is wrong, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, we can get a bunch of scrap. Okay, that's neat. Anything relevant in the debugger? Some stuff about stuff already being connected. I think that's fine. Okay. So we were going to add scrap collection. That is the issue that we're working on. What did this change? Yeah, we called layer 3 attackable. We added our model with import settings. We updated health scene. I don't know what that setting did, but somehow we changed that. We added pile of boxes as a scene. We added scrap as a scene. We updated level 1 to use these things. We added our scrap script, which I think we'll have some refinements to later. So the reason I was thinking about like having this where a pile of boxes inherits from scrap is that if we have this as the base thing, then we should be able to see how it says type scrap, because the script that's attached to the node has that class name on it. So we should be able to say, is this of type scrap when we're looking at things? We can also do something like, hey, this node, we're going to have a group. We're going to create a global group called scrap that this will be inside of. And so that pile of boxes will also be in that group because it inherits. And that means all of those instances in the level are findable in this way without having to remember to add it. As long as I'm using this as a base scene for all of the things, then that would just get that automatically. So when we're thinking about like having behaviors that are based on, is it enemy, is it scrap, we could do that. Okay, so I mean, that's kind of a boring commit message. What would Copilot say about these changes? Add pile of boxes model and scrap entity. Imported the model from Blender, created a new scene, implemented scrap script to manage scrap rewards and health signals, define collision shape for scrap entity, connect health signals to appropriate methods. This is sort of true. We also want to include fixes 95. So commit that, publish that branch. That was easy, right? And we can close Blender for now. We could do more with the model and its texture, but it's a good start. Okay, new pull request. Okay, and create that. Oh, good, it is linked. It's just the UI hadn't updated. Great. All right. So, I think, what are we gonna do next? We could go back to the first pull request and make some of those changes. Or we could, let's see, what else did I say? Add player level increase by consuming our XP. That in and of itself wouldn't be a huge thing to do, right? Because we could just add a level value maybe to the currency manager or the game manager. And then we probably want to have something in the UI that reflects that value. I think that could be pretty straightforward. Did I leave myself any notes in this? No. Okay, maybe we can do this really, really quick. Like this is really just the start of something, because we will need to then do stuff with the level value. I guess the question is, what controls the what is the relationship between XP and level is a question. So let's see, currency manager, currency manager is where we're managing these things right now. So we have scrap, starting scrap, current XP, and we would then add current level. And then we had some signals. Level up. We will check out another branch. Okay. So if we have current XP, which at load is set to 0. This is kind of this is redundant, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I'm just trying to think about how we're going to connect XP to level. So, I mean, we do emit a signal. We emit 2 signals. It is fine, sure. Get scrap, get XP. Set scrap, set XP. Earn currency, spend currency, get currency, set currency. Do we actually call? Yeah, let's clean this up. Like, if we just don't call these methods, then we don't need to keep them around, yeah? I had Copilot write a pull request for expanding the currency manager to handle XP and scrap as separate things last week. And that's a little bit that I left over. It's like, it's a good thought in terms of like migrating things, but it's not that complicated of a project. You don't have that much going on. So where does current XP change? We probably want to set the level, the current level, back to 1 here. Like anywhere where we're changing current XP, we want to think about changing current level. Now the question is, do we want to have these same kind of signals for level changed, level earned? No, I don't think so. I think this is just the 1 is fine. Okay, so this resets stuff. This. Is fine. So when we earn XP, because this is the only place where we're changing current XP, right? Is anything calling set XP? Or set scrap? No. Okay, I'm just gonna remove these then. Yeah, theoretically those things would be helpful for testing, debugging, whatever, but we're not using them. We can always add them later when we need them. And it just makes it easier to keep track of like, where does current XP change? The answer is only right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a thing here that's going to be check level up. And I'm gonna do the thing that I've been doing elsewhere of like, prefixing it with an underscore. Okay, so XP for next level is current level times 100 is a thing that Copilot has decided to write. Do I want to do it that way? That means if my current level is 1, I need 100 XP to get to level 2, 200 for 3, 300 for 4. So that is a way of doing it. There's another way in which it's like more exponential. I think it is a thing that we will have to tune. Get XP for next level. And we do that. And again, and do that. Now I could like move this to like an export or something, but the thing is, I'm not even sure if this model is what I want to do. So I'm not gonna worry about making it so that it's easy to change this number when we might want to do something else completely. XP while, okay, if the current XP, and then we also need to update this one. Yep. So while we have enough XP currently for the next level, we remove that amount of XP from current XP. We increment the level. We emit a level up. We log that. We emit that the XP has changed because we decreased it, and then we recalculate how much XP is necessary for the next level. So if for some reason we're like, if we're level 1 and we do something that gets us like 1,000 XP, I don't know what that circumstance would be, but whatever, we would potentially level up multiple times, and this loop handles that. So good job Copilot. All right, well, we didn't quite make it before the ad break, which Twitch wants to run, so we're gonna take a pause here. I'll be back in a couple minutes and we'll do some more. So be right back.